A 6'3" guard from Toronto, Ontario, number 9, Tremar Sutherland. A 7-foot center from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Look up, look way up. It's number 35, Derek Hall. And a 6'7" forward from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 55, Russell Bird. The Titans are coached by Serge Langent with his assistants, Rob Demian, Jody Moore, and Mike Quigley. The officials for tonight's contest, Mr. Mike Curry, Mr. Mark Baxter, and Mr. Augie Socolow. Foul from the Hurricanes, number 23, Billy White, his first, team's first. Derek Hall shoots 2. Out of bounds, Halifax ball. Overruled, out of bounds, Titans ball, 5 seconds on the shot clock. white. Fouls on the Hurricanes, number 23, Billy White called for the push, his second, team's second. 7 for Halifax, number 1, Tyrone Watson. Fouls on the Titans, number 3, Ben Mazzola, his first, team's first. Tyrone Watson, shoot 2.
He was actually drafted into the NBA G League back in October, and so I'm sure they're happy to have the 6'4" guard out of Auburn back in the fold. Always nice to have an experienced shooting hand back in the regular rotation.
Of course, with Auburn being his alma mater, I'm sure he's happy with this weekend's results. Big win for the Tigers in the Iron Bowl. Mazzola, the baseline drive, and he'll get it to go. Nice move by Mazzola, cutting through the defense. And the pull up the other way off the mark from Zimmerman. He's been hot from beyond the arc to start the year, shooting up 52%. Duncan trying to weave his way through traffic, and he'll get drawn the foul.
Fouls on the Hurricanes, number 9, Ravel Brown, his first, team.
Brown called for his first.
And we certainly want to apologize for some slight technical difficulties to kick off the broadcast in this one. And we do certainly appreciate you tuning in on YouTube.
Duncan, no good on number 1.
Duncan, quite the routine there at the line, as you can see.
Coming off a 14-point effort in the season opener.
Not to mention 5 from 6 from the stripe. In those 37 minutes played, he logged a lot of court time for the Titans, and rightfully so. He's going to be one of those key cogs in this Titans offense going forward.
And he gets him to bite, leaves it, and an easy finish for Tyrone Watson. Pretty play there. Zola on skates.
Too easy for Watson just to set up camp there in prime real estate to get that dish. And then get the nice touch on the floater to put Halifax up 7-6.
Zola, the contested 3 won't go. Watson there for the board, trying to push in transition, going up against Morrow, flips it up, won't go. On rebound, and Sutherland collides with Zimmerman, and it'll be Zimmerman who gets called.
And Morrow getting some early minutes here this evening. last year's first overall pick of the Titans, product out of London and Western.
Sutherland, and he was looking for Vizzola, who was coming off that curl. A bit of miscommunication. It's into the first row. Titans had their fair share of turnovers in the first game, but not to a point where I'd say it'd be an issue. It was more of a combination of just everything that went wrong that night. Turnovers just happened to be one of those small factors that played in.
Yeah, 13 turnovers on the evening as there's a layup attempt that's a little heavy on that touch, and the Titans break away.
Morrow, he's got Sutherland in the corner, drops back for Bird, and they'll reset. We're just over the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter. Bird, the three, and
They'll stick him on that ball. A nice little pick and roll there for Bird, or at least coming off the dribble off the screen, give him an open look for the three.
they'll call it jump ball, so it will stay with the Titans with 11 to shoot. Vizzola drops it for Hall, and I don't think he was aware that
Shot clock was winding down.
Titans did not have a fresh 24 off that inbounds play.
Just need a bit more awareness there. Slow to start getting going here, this offense. Well, really for both sides, just sitting at 7-6 at the moment, 6:34 to go in the first. Certainly would expect a bit more from the Titans here, have the fresher legs of the two teams.
Clinkscales, a nice scoop pass, count it, plus the foul. The big-time throwdown for Ramel Brown.
And Brown, what a godsend he was for the Hurricanes. 6'8", 235. And going into the offseason, they were aware that they needed a presence, and that being head coach Mike Leslie needed a presence inside, and he was a ground him, pound him kind of big man out of Manhattan College. Holds a record for block shots at the school, but right there we saw a good example of what he can do offensively under the hoop.
Brown gets the three-point play the hard way, and it's a 10-6 Halifax lead. Bird thought about it and draws the foul. It looks like he was in motion of shooting. Nope, they won't give it to him. It's on the floor. Watson.
And not much flow to this opening quarter as well. Seen a number of whistles already.
Halifax now with just one foul to give, almost turned over. We'll say it's tipped. Clinkscales got in there and disrupted the pass, but 7 to shoot now. Clinkscales launched by Mason over to Morrow for three. Way off the mark.
Another good contested shot. Taquan Zimmerman there with the hand in Morrow's face, and you could tell he was off balance, rushed that shot. It seems like KW right now just a little caught on their back foot as they head back on the timeout now to maybe straighten things out. Halifax up by 4. Hasn't been the prettiest quarters for them, but they look a bit more settled at the moment.
Absolutely. Bodiford there picked up the foul, and they got in some trouble earlier was Antoine Mason, who got into some foul trouble.
The Titans is shooting 25% with 5:58 to go here in the first.
Excuse me, that's actually Billy White who picked up 2 quick ones, and Leslie was forced to make a quick move, but they haven't seemed fazed by it.
It's going to be tough to beat that. There's Titus, our own Titus at number 1.
And as I mentioned off the top, and for those most likely didn't catch it though, with the slight technical difficulties that we did have, the KW Titans making a move just a couple days ago, releasing one of their power point guards slash shooting guards, that is, Denzel James, making way for Kevin Rogers, who played last year down in Mexico, and he is a Baylor University grad back in 2009, 2010, and certainly at 6'9", 250, he's going to add that physical dimension that was clearly missing from KW's floor presence in game number 1. Not in tonight's lineup, but going forward, I'm sure he'll be a valuable contributor. Time with Baylor, he had the record for most games in a season, or should I say, play the most games in his final year with the team. He just has a streak of longevity, so the fact that he can stay on the floor, that certainly helps the Titans.
Just past the halfway mark, back on the court for the Titans. Bird, Duncan, Hall, Bodiford, and Morrow. Some nice ball movement here for the Hurricanes, and it results in another big throwdown for Ramel Brown.
Another one for Brown now, as he just asserts himself in a low paint again. Titans have to start boxing out a bit more. And not the result you want to see coming out of a timeout, too.
Duncan works it down for Bird, has it poked away. Klingscales with the steal. Back the other way, and coughing it up was Tyrone Watson, threw it out of bounds. So the Titans exchange turnovers, so won't cost them that time. But regardless, Halifax going on a bit of a run here, up 6.
Yeah, a bit of a break there, as seemed like he would have had an open shot in the corner had that pass been more on the mark.
Hall working down low, little hook shot, and comes up a bit short. Brown going to work again down low against Hall, and Brown off the mark that time. Good job by Hall to stand his ground against Brown, who has clearly shown his strength inside. Open 3 for Hall, definitely not his shot, but great effort by Bodiford, takes it back out for 3, also off the mark. The Titans can't capitalize on 2 wide open looks.
They can't be selling for 3 balls though right now. No white jerseys inside, they gotta gain that presence.
Klingscales takes the 3, no shot, a foul call, and it's gonna be on the offense.
So another break here for KW.
Yeah, that's going to be on Ramel Brown. That's a costly loss now, as Leslie is forced to pull Brown out of the game, who had those 2 big dunks here in the early going.
And already the team's 6th foul of the quarter.
So they've got none to give, and they've got 2 of their starters already in a bit of foul trouble. So let's see how Coach Leslie utilizes his bench here with his squad already 0 for 2 on this Central Division trip. Duncan the 3, won't go.
Already 5 3-point field goal attempts for KW. In my view, that's a little too much.
CJ Washington into the game for the Hurricanes. The baseline drive there from Poole. And the step back won't go, and Bird there for the board.
Nice job defensively there, and there we see a good example of a box up by Bird there.
Washington with a terrific athletic play to keep it in bounds. The Hurricanes, a crazy sequence, somehow kept it in play, but
Harlem Globetrotter-esque there.
Flipping it over the back, and it ends with Duncan able to secure it, but then Bodiford gets called for the travel. I think he put his foot down before he put the ball on the floor. Carl Arsenault checking into the game. He got what I guess we would call garbage time minutes in the first game, but seeing him here in the first quarter, interesting move by Coach Landis.
I think he's just looking for some sort of spark here, and the youngster Arsenault getting some early minutes. Going to try to get this team going, as well as Hill too down low.
Watson backing it on Morrow. They work it up top. Klingscales, the 3. No good.
And Hill is known as that energy player. They need it. They need a boost right now.
Morrow, the drive, throws it up off the glass, and he'll get it to drop, and finally puts an end to the Halifax run.
Exactly what the Titans need more of right now. They're fortunate to be down by only 4. But if they want to maintain that or surpass it, be aggressive, take it right to the rack.
Yeah, with 2.5 to go and score single digits and only be down by 4 is quite the blessing.
Well, especially when the opposing team's already got 16 fouls too.
Clink scales the miss, second attempt, and it's good that time as CJ Washington there for his first points of the evening.
One-handed bounce tip pass, a heady play there by Klingscales.
Nice play down low, but unable to finish it was Hill. Second try, also no good.
Gotta finish those.
2 great looks for Kevin Hill, but can't drop either one.
When that's your bread and butter, you gotta be ready to put those in the bottom of the bucket.
Poole working it down low for Washington. Spins, but it looked like it was tipped that time by Hill, and back the other way come the Titans. Bodiford spinning and draws the contact. That'll be Klingscales on the foul.
Nice pace there on that breakout, finding Bodiford, then uses the spin move just under the basket to catch the defender a little flat-footed and drew the foul on that play.
With that, point guard Klingscales comes out of the game. Ronaldo Dixon, Brian Rouse into the game for Halifax. And Bodiford drops in number 1. Bodiford can't connect on the second order, the second missed free throw by the Titans this quarter.
Gotta drain those, especially when your team's only shooting 20%, which they are right now. 3 for 15 KW from the field. Halifax not better at 31%.
Dixon almost lost it at his feet and backing in on Hill. The fadeaway won't go.
Nice challenge there by Hill, getting right up on the shooter, hand in the face.
Bodiford looks to slow the pace down. Arsenault, the deep 3, no good.
He can nail those, but a little too deep, I think, for either of our liking.
At the minute mark, Washington's 3 won't go, loose ball. And it's going to stay with Halifax, and much to the displeasure of
they're going to talk
Bodiford.
this over, I think, and from this vantage point, it did look like Halifax touched it last, but that official far side will have the better look, and too easy on the inbounds for the putback.
They capitalize Washington there for the bucket, and it's a 7-point Halifax lead. Titans desperately looking to get into double digits here in the opening period. Drive by Duncan out to Arsenault, tries another. That one won't go either. Loose ball and able to get 2 hands on it is Zimmerman, so Arsenault a quick 0 for 2 from beyond the arc in transition. Washington draws the foul.
That's 0 for 7 now in the first quarter from beyond the arc for KW. Something's got to change up here.
Either something's got to give or something's got to change, and right now it's looking like something's got to change.
Well, it's either start making shots, those 3 balls that is, or
take higher percentage looks.
Exactly it. We've seen success with it, whether it's drawing fouls or, in the latest instance, Morrow going right in for the layup.
So CJ Washington goes 1 for 2 at the line, but the offensive rebound that time from Dixon, a fresh 24. As Zimmerman looks up at the clock, he's got a 4-second differential game clock, shot clock. He's going to try and stretch this Halifax lead even more. Tries to blow by Morrow, kick out, Washington 3, no good. And another opportunity as Rouse grabs the offensive rebound, shot clock off, and then Poole draws the foul. I'm going to like that foul, though, from Bodiford, knowing that the Titans still had 2 to give. 1 more to give here. Wouldn't surprise me to see if they foul here. Just can't be on the shot. With 2.8 seconds left, they've got 1 to give still. Rouse to inbound. Gets it into Poole. Fadeaway 3. Puts it in. And Mike Poole hits the 3 at the buzzer.
And has a word for the Titan bench as he walks by. I was just about to give Morrow some props. I don't think he could have defended that much better, but just a great shot there. The 3 ball wrapping up this first quarter. And there's some work to do for the KW Titans. Only 9 points in the first frame.
And that shot by Mike Poole, corner 3 at the buzzer. Reminds me of a lot of a shot he took in the corner here last year that won the game for the Hurricanes at the buzzer, almost identical. We talk about them going 0 for 7 from beyond the arc in the first quarter, and that really seems to be the looming factor right now.
0 for 7, 3 of 17 overall. Got to start looking for easier options, and certainly no one's going to be as frustrated as Serge Langes and Langes as these players. But you got to come out of that quarter break and just refocus, forget that first quarter of play, and move on. And take a look at those first quarter stats. Both Tyrone Watson, it's a trifecta. In fact, Tyrone Watson, Ramel Brown, and CJ Washington, game high scores with 5 points apiece, and then 6 rebounds already for Watson down low. For KW, it's a trio of 2-point players in Vazola, Sutherland, and Morrow.
The Titans definitely not strong to start this one, shooting just 3 of 17 from the field, as you mentioned. Turned the ball over 5 times. Right now, there's just a lot that's got to change for this team if they want to get to where they need to be.
They just need someone to step up and really take hold of this team, put them on their back. And it's not often you want to see that kind of individual play, but when there's this much of a lull and really just the spirit amongst the team, nothing seems to be going right or feeling that way anyways. Someone take charge here and lead the way.
And last year they got that spark, it seemed, in the last few months of the season with Glenn Whitfield. They haven't really had that guy this year.
They haven't had that dependable guy, and granted it is a very fresh roster. It is game 2. There's still lots of time for that to happen. But when you're trying to develop a system here, you like to obviously see it come sooner than later.
To say it's a small sample size is certainly a given, but definitely the teams who start 3-0 are definitely in much better shape than the ones who start 0-3. Titans, of course, a chance to get back to 500 tonight, drop the opener. Halifax coming in at 2-2, but they've lost their last 2 here in the Central Division road swing. Easy transition buckets at the way for Brian Rouse, and it is a 15-point Hurricanes lead.
There you see Ronaldo Dixon, the latest scorer for the Hurricanes. 26 years old at Toronto, played 4 years down in New Mexico State.
Morrow, the left-hand drive, floater, won't go. And climbing the ladder for the rebound was Poole. I like that look from Morrow, but just couldn't get it to go, and it resulted in Washington scoring the other way, and indeed, so that is enough for the Titans bench. They want to talk things over. They're down 17 real quick here.
6-0 run to start the second quarter of play. Not exactly how you want it to come out. And Serge Langes and the coaching staff just taking a step back and letting the players talk amongst themselves. At this point, it gets to a point where sometimes you need to let them confer as he talks things over with his coaching staff and then breaks his huddle to let them know what they're going to do.
It's now a 14-1 Halifax run in total, and not only have they started to kind of find their footing, the Titans just seem to be stifling, and most of it has been coming on the offensive end. Of course, you are going to need stops on defense, but 26 points through 14 minutes is not all that bad, but if you're not making the most out of your possessions on the other end, it doesn't really mean a lot.
A lot of points in the paint as well for Halifax, as they haven't been particularly impressive from beyond the arc, just 1 for 6 themselves, but they've made up for it with easy looks, and we just saw it there, a bit of a lob pass down low to the baseline and resulted in the 2 to force that timeout. And we'd be remiss to also mention the officiating crew here tonight, led by crew chief Mike Curry, Mark Baxter, and Augie Sokolovich. make up the trio here at the Odd this evening. Glad you're along with us. Dan Polishuk along with Ian Jodry. Feel free to always, as always, give us your thoughts using the live chat on tonight's game. We'll certainly get to those points if we're able to at any point of tonight's basketball game.
Speaking of points, Titans could definitely use some. Nigel Titer.
Nice segue.
Nigel Titer into the game for the Titans' first appearance. He's going to work down low against Ronaldo Dixon, and he is blocked by Dixon.
Few too many dribbles down low, and there goes Titer again. Shot clock violation. Did not reset, though. It should have.
And that looked like it should have reset. It seemed like a clear change of possession off the block.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in the opening broadcast, Titer's a guy that brings a physical element to his game. So it's not surprising here that Coach Langis has put him into the 5 on the floor just to get bumping and grinding a little bit. Grind out some minutes, that is, and maybe send a message not only to the Hurricanes, but his teammates to kind of pick it up physically.
So indeed, they are going to give the Titans the ball back. Line 2 seconds off the shot clock, and chance now to put an end to this strong Hurricanes run. Bird, blocked by Washington, steps into one, but comes up short. Long rebound, and easily handled by Zimmerman. Washington over to Dixon. Leaves an open 3 for Dixon. 3 won't go, and able to get the rebound with one hand was Washington. That's going to result in a foul on Bird. Bird called for his first.
And Mike Leslie questioning this call, still looking for an explanation.
It wasn't in the motion of shooting. He was pulling down a rebound and drew a foul, so that would be on the floor.
And Coach Leslie stepping away from that pretty quickly as he heard that explanation.
He was definitely not in the motion of shooting. Step back by Washington, no good.
Offensive push there.
That time it's going to go the other way.
With Ronaldo Dixon, the Canuck again getting the shoulder out a little bit there as he tried to get the extra angle.
Duncan, a little crossover. The step back Jay is short, right into the hands of Titer. Can't get it to go, but he will draw the foul.
I think it's going to be Dixon with the harm on that one from behind.
It is 2 quick fouls on Dixon. Clinkscale is going to check back in for Halifax.
Subbing for Halifax, number 12, Clinkscales.
There's Brown with the 2 fouls now. We'll take a seat in a bit of a, well in a second, I think. Zimmerman heads off, though, as you mentioned, Ian. And the first free throw is dropped.
Titer had 3 points against Windsor.
And you already see, too, while he works down low, kind of opens up the guards a bit more. So we'll see whether that maybe frees up some of these shooters for better looks for the Titans.
Finally puts an end to the 14-1 Hurricanes run. Long rebound, and once again finds its way back out to Poole as Clinkscales with a fresh 24.
Last loss, the Hurricanes that is, against the Lightning was just how really not well they shot the basketball, 39%, and that's one thing Mike Leslie touched on post-game, an area he really wanted to improve on in terms of capitalizing on possessions, which ultimately turned to be the turning point in I was just going to say they haven't improved on it much with just hanging around the 39% mark right now, but that shot will help.
Straight to the rack, and he'll draw the foul.
And that'll be Dixon's third, so now he will certainly head off.
3 fouls on Ronaldo Dixon. With that, Bodford off, Vazola back in.
Yeah, we're just waiting to see who is going to replace him. It looks like Denny McDonald's going to check in for the Hurricanes.
First appearance of the night for McDonald. Of the Windsor Express and the St. John Riptide, 7. Windsor, after being dealt from the Riptide.
And former Trinity Western player too, coming out of Canada West.
And drops it in.
And it's only a matter of time until he got going.
If you're going to drop your first 3-pointer of the night, why not make it a flashy one?
Make it a statement.
Why not make it a Hail Mary?
And maybe that breathes some life into this Titans offense.
Washington, lots of contact, and Tighter going to get called for his first.
Well, he certainly couldn't classify this first half as an offensive clinic thus far for really either team, as it's really gone in bits and spurts. And this crowd at the Yacht hasn't had a chance to really get into things.
Poole's corner 3 is well off the mark, and back in the Titans with numbers. Bird going to take it to the rim himself, and he'll draw the foul.
Looking
He
for
wants a
goaltending.
goaltend.
Yeah, not going to happen though. Oh, they will count it, okay.
Count it plus the foul,
I'll
because
take it all back, Ian.
they originally called the foul, but then he still got the shot off, and there was still goaltending as that one was up on the backboard and on its way down, but it did not look like it was going in.
Well, it didn't look like it was in the cylinder at all, but.
FIBA rules.
Exactly.
Bird, 6 quick points for the Titans, and all of a sudden it's a 10-point game.
We'll say it again, KW very fortunate to only be down 10 right now.
Clink Scales, aggressive move on.
All away, and
Looks like it's on Tighter.
it is Tighter indeed. Competing down low for some good positioning in the blocks, and that didn't work out as planned.
Tighter 2 very quick fouls. For now, he's still in the game. Tyrone Watson gonna check back in for Halifax. Washington off. Three to 18, just 5 minutes in the second quarter. Clink Scales with 8 to shoot. Into the corner, quick release 3 from Poole. And he drops it in. Mike Poole, 8 points already.
That's the second time tonight. He's trying the other corner this time around, and he's liking those spots. Another challenge 3.
That time he'll draw the foul, and
Yeah, kind of in disbelief on that call, it looks like, but it'll be tighter heading back to line.
Vizzola gonna check out. Morrow back into the game.
Or rather, Duncan drawing the foul on that one. A bit of an extended discussion as Duncan went over to the official.
Duncan, of course, coming over from the Express last season. 7 points, 7 assists per game. Also spent time with Halifax and St. John, of course. Average about 13.5 points per game for Halifax in the 2012-2013 season. Back the other way, and Watson can't get it to go. Looked like it got tipped. The Titans able to convert the other way.
Duncan got a hand on it there at the last second.
Bird, a little bit of a circus shot, won't go.
Just forcing it a little too much. And right back in the hands of the Hurricanes.
McDonald up against Titer. Backing down, Watson. Hitting the floor that time was Bird. Thought he drew the charge. Then just being an easy 2 for Tyrone Watson. It's a 16-point Halifax lead.
Yeah, Tyrone Watson stands 6'6", but he's a solid 225. And he used all of it right there on Bird. Nice denial there to get a hand up to slow it down by Poole.
Morrow spins the step back and gets the drop. Nice move that time from Morrow.
We've seen him do that time and again throughout his university career, and not too often in his young NBL Canada venture, but nice move there again from Morrow. He's capable of that on a regular basis once he gets going.
McDonald the miss underneath. Sutherland in transition. The spin on the baseline, throws it up high off the window, won't go. Long rebound, and then Sutherland commits a bit of a sloppy foul on McDonald.
Not sure he needed to do that reach in there with 5:11 to go. Most of the Halifax 5 are already up the floor looking for an outlet pass to get going. As Sutherland and Duncan talk things over at midcourt.
Five to play in the half now. Mason working it down low for McDonald. McDonald tried to flip it inside, but looked like it got tipped that time by Hall. Results in a turnover. Sutherland the other way and gets it to drop, plus the foul. Tramar Sutherland, a strong move to the inside, a chance for a 3-point play.
Need more of that, but it's a smart move by Halifax head coach Mike Leslie. He's going to call timeout right away. He doesn't want this Kidderby Titans team to get any life whatsoever. They're up by 12. Nice start here on the road for the Hurricanes, and he wants to keep it that way.
4:53 to go, and so far the highlight, I guess, if you're the Hurricanes, that 14-1 run at the end of the first carried over in the second. Titans start to find their ground. Russell Bird a quick 6 points, but now you got to kind of string some things together, try and make that a single-digit deficit when you want to go to the locker room.
Well, the fact that they've got double-digit points in this quarter certainly helps the Titans, but have to still fight tooth and nail to get clawing back and make this a single-digit deficit at the very least heading into halftime. We said that in game number 1 against Windsor, and ultimately we saw that occur, which resulted in that big run to start the second half. But first things first, let's get that offense going if you're KW. Last couple of trips up the floor, we're seeing that aggressiveness, they're taking it to the hoop. I like the fact that they've kind of turned their back on the 3-ball in this quarter too, just the 2 attempts.
Bird, Sutherland, Hall, and Morrow back onto the court, along with Duncan for the Titans. For Halifax, it'll be one.
celebration. He doesn't believe this call.
It's actually on Sutherland.
And that's his second personal of the night. Yes. The official just trying to lead him back towards the bench. It's been a frustrating night, and so that doesn't help Coach Landrich's mood in that instance.
.10 on the shot clock. Washington backing down low against Hall. Left hand flips it up, won't go, but he's got 2 free throws as Hall will get called for his first foul tonight.
Foul on the Titans, number 35, Derek Hall. That is his first, team's 7th.
And we've got a foul, or at least a warning anyways, on Coach Landrich's now, as he continued that, well, one-sided discussion anyways with the official.
Washington good on the first. Washington, 86% free throw shooter. Second. Halifax lead back. Fake, lost the basketball. Back out to Bird for 3. No good. Hall, the second try, also no good. Titans having some trouble converting.
Yeah, that 3 ball by Bird was well off, by some good positioning by Hall to get that rebound. No finish though on the putback.
Clink Scales. Dropped it off for Mason. Jumper is good that time. Antoine Mason gets on the score sheet for the first time tonight. 16 points now, the lead for Halifax. Sutherland inside, and on the other end, it looks like it was Poole who got.
Nice job there by Sutherland, taking it right at Poole. Backtracking a little bit, and Sutherland switching over to his left hand, tried to go up with it. Drew the harm.
Sutherland off the mark on number 1. Shot 65% for the line last year for KW. 1 for 2 when for the final 3 minutes and change of the half. Neither teams will have fouls to give. Washington down low against Hall. Tough shot fading away and well off the mark.
I'm there by fellow Canadian.
The arc now, he's got 11 on the night.
Took the words right out of my mouth. He's been deadly from that long distance range.
Bird, Duncan into the corner for Sutherland. Can't get the response as Washington pulls down the board.
1 of 12 from beyond the arc now for KW.
Clink Scales, a dish, Mason, count it, plus the foul. Morrow gonna get charged. Tonight.
And a slow start for the big man.
No basket on the play. Foul is on the Hurricanes.
drops in number 1.
Yeah, they're expecting big things from the second-year player.
That looks like it's either a charge or an offensive foul. A charge or a travel. It looks like it's a travel that's called.
Yeah, exactly right, as the official Mike Crow came over this way to make that call, and Titans will get the ball right back here. 1:53 to go in this first half.
Check out Russell Bird helping the floor wiper. Getting things all clean there on the far baseline. Inside the 2-minute mark now. 45-28. It's been all Halifax here in this first half. Sutherland in the corner for 3. Gets it to drop.
Up to 7 points now, Tramar Sutherland. The 2 Canadians leading the way here so far in Morrow and Tramar.
Clinkscales now with 5 on the shot clock, watched by Duncan. Clinkscales tried to swing it inside that time to Brown. It goes off Brown and out, so the Titans' good defensive stand forced the turnover.
And again, we're gonna see Mike Leslie timeout on the floor.
Get his troops together, and of course, using his final timeout of the half with 1:18, might as well try and hold the Titans at bay. Their lead for the Hurricanes is up to 14. They led by as many as 19 in the first half. Titans starting to get things clicking, but just as they seem to find their groove offensively, they seem to be giving up a bit too much on the other end.
Well, exactly right, and they just haven't had the spread out scoring as we've seen from the Halifax Hurricanes here in this first half. Only the lone player in double digits in Tyrone Watson, but we've got 9 out of CJ Washington, 8 out of Mike Poole, and 5 from Ramel Brown, and as well as 5 from Cliff Clinkscales. So rather than just relying on a trifecta of players as the KW Titans have, Halifax done a better job of not only rotating the basketball around for the open looks, but getting an inside presence as well, which has converted into easier baskets. This being the first of back-to-back games here for the Hurricanes before they head back home. They'll be traveling to the Meridian Center tomorrow night to take on the Niagara River Lions.
You can imagine they don't want to go in there with the possibility of getting swept in their Central Division trip. Their only trip, of course, to face the Ontario teams this year. To drop game 1s and 2 to Windsor and London over the weekend. They're definitely hungry to get back above 500 after starting the year 2-0. Duncan. Morrow now. Morrow with the left-hand drive, throws it up with the right hand, won't go. There to pull down the board was Brown. Right out of the timeout, the Hurricanes able to get that defensive stand and now looking to stretch that lead. Mason in the corner, Poole to Jay, won't go. About a 12.5-second differential game clock, shot clock, so Titans might try to go 2 for 1 here. They leave it for Hall, and he'll get it to go. Nice find that time.
Nice high screen there from Hall, and eventually drifted down low for that dish off, and the rest was history as now KW only down by 12.
45-33 Halifax. Of course, you mentioned they've led by as many as 19, so the Titans have cut into that deficit. Hurricanes can have the last shot of the half. Mason gets it to drop, and that'll do it for the opening 24 minutes. 47-33 Halifax with the lead. Titans could have been much worse. Stronger showing for sure in the second quarter than the first.
Certainly a frustrating half if you're the KW Titans. They'd be looking to get things going offensively. We saw maybe slight signs of life there in the latter stages of that first half, but credit the Halifax Hurricanes coming into the odd and playing a pretty darn good road game overall.
47-33. Tyrone Watson, 12 points at the half. Poole with 8 of his own, while Morrow had 8 in the half as well. For sure, we're definitely seeing a bit more of a rotation here. Lots of guys getting looks for the Titans.
We've seen plenty of bodies mixed into the rotation for the KW Titans as the coaching staff just looking for something, some combination to really get going for them.
They came out firing in the third quarter of last game, were able to take one of their only leads of the ball game. We'll see if they can do the same thing here tonight. They're down 14 after the first 24 minutes.
All right, it's the Halifax Hurricanes leading at 47-33 over the KW Titans at halftime here at the Odd in Kitchener. Dan Paulchuk pleased to be joined now by Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson. And first off, congratulations on the new job. How are you enjoying it after, I guess, officially week number 1 underway?
You know what? Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
being here. Your interview announced at the Odd. I loved it. That's a nice one. I love that one. But you know what? It's been great. You know, anyone that sort of knows my history with the league and knows sort of where I started from, it was always from the position of wanting to do good for the league and do good by the league and do everything within my power to help promote, advance the brand. And, you know, in some ways it feels so surreal to sit in this position now because I legitimately came in as a volunteer. And you know, you hear all these stories growing up and these adages about, you know, working hard and follow your passion and sticking to the things you love and all these sorts of things and good things will follow. You know, I'm thinking, wow, I feel like I'm living proof of that, right? So it's been great. You know, personally, I'm pleased, I'm proud, I'm excited about where this league can go. I've loved the action right from that very first week, the very first game, and I'm just excited, man. Year 7, I'm big. That's big.
Well, you touched on it. You're number 7, and you've been here basically from the start, if not the start.
Yeah.
What essentially drew you into the fold here with the National Basketball League of Canada, for those who might not be familiar with your personality, which really drifts from stadium or arena across the league?
It does. You know, to 100% honest, one of the things that drew me is, well, first off, it was basketball. That's the starting point. And the whole idea of basketball in Canada, I was like, wow, that's a basketball league in Canada. We have our own league. And then it just so happened the year that the NBL Canada started, it was the year of the NBA lockout, 2011. And back then I used to do a lot of basketball media stuff, so I was covering the NBA, and all of a sudden I found I had a lot of free time on my hands, and I never looked back since.
Yeah. Now, how do you sell this league to those who haven't experienced an NBL Canada game to get them out and start filling more of the seats anyways across the league?
You know what? And I've said this over and over again. I challenge someone to come to a game and not have a good time. I've yet, and I invite people. Other people do the same. They invite friends and family and say, come to a game, tell me what you think. And I've yet to have someone come back with an experience less than, this is astounding, this is incredible, I can't wait to come back. So, it's an exciting product, and, from the league's perspective, we certainly want to continue to promote that product, our brand, as exciting, and it is. And, those on the inside know, and it's about, infecting everyone else on the outside so they can understand, what we got here.
Well, that hashtag all one has been pretty prominent in all the marketing this year. What is it about that mandate, or what is it exactly that you're trying to promote in that all one idea?
Yeah, and thanks for that question, because that was a really important direction for us as a league. Regardless, what our individual goals are. When I say individual, I mean teams. So what our individual team goals are, or where you're trying to get to. Ultimately, the success is going to come from the league collectively. It isn't like one team is going to outshine the rest of the league. That's not going to happen. So collectively, we are all one. If one team succeeds, we all succeed. And you take that concept and you can apply it to the teams, you can apply it to individuals, whether it's our officials and our ticket collectors, or our game ops, or volunteers. We're collectively all in this together, and we wanted, we thought a lot in the off season, what our messaging really needs to be about, and things like solidarity, inclusiveness, and unity. Those are all important themes, and that's really the backbone of it.
Well, in terms of success, we've seen a lot of it out of this visiting team in the Halifax Hurricanes. What elements of that franchise have you seen that's really impressed you to make them such a stalwart in this league?
You look at the history of the Halifax organization. We know them as the Hurricanes now, but prior to that they were the Rainmen, and prior to that they had another name. So you look at the community and how through all the various incarnations, the fan base, they love them. They love their Halifax franchise, and it's no coincidence that the Halifax Hurricanes arguably have been the most successful team out of the Atlantic Division since the league's inception. They've been in the finals 3 or 4. Oh, I'll say 3. Let's say 3.
Right.
I know someone's gonna correct me on that, but I'm gonna say 3, and if I'm wrong, it's 4.
Well, either way, you'll hear about it, I guess, at the very least. We've got essentially a brand new franchise here in KW Titans in year number 2. So going from one that's really got that established history to one that's trying to build it, what have you seen out of this young team? This is a hotbed for basketball here in Waterloo Region, for those that aren't aware. And I'm sure most of the people tuning in have heard of Jamal Murray coming out of Kitchener, now playing his trade with the Denver Nuggets. What kind of promise do you see out of this franchise?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Jamal Murray, because those are the sorts of things the stories that you gravitate to. First of all, wait a second, Jamal Murray was from this area, and you look at the local, there's tons of the local basketball clubs that are we're at halftime now. We're seeing kids run around here, so basketball is important to this community, as it is all the communities that we exist within. But I was always excited. Like, I think back to the press conference when the team was announced with the little YMCA, and the place was packed, and you had politicians, local officials, you had everyone that was there excited about a team, and you follow that through a few months later, home opener, throughout the whole season, you saw they're trying to build and build. And that's what the excitement of the second year is about, because you're like, okay, we went through the growing pains of year number 1, now we're here for year number 2. And, you only can expect big things. And the fact that you had a record attendance, home opener.
Just over 2,700, right?
That says something right there, so.
Certainly some building blocks, and one team trying to establish that in year number 1 themselves now out in St. John's, and had a pretty good start themselves to their franchise history too. What did you gather from that experience?
Well,
and how the community rallies around them.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I was in Halifax, and Halifax were facing off against the edge, and one of the gentlemen on the live stream said, those Newfoundland fans are so polite. They're so great. What I take from that is that they're just so happy and appreciative to have a club to rally behind. And you think about it, their home openers this Friday. We've been going almost 2 full. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, and it will be, and I'm trying to get down there myself. But it's incredible to see the support, and we get a lot of sort of inquiries and messages, and we get tweets and all sorts of things. And a lot of the Edge fans are just they've jumped on their team, and they're not letting go. And that's really exciting to see, because as a league, we identify the types of communities that we want to be in. We want to be in those communities that rally behind their team, and that's what we're seeing in St. John's.
two things I want to touch on before I let you go.
Yeah.
First off, being the new team that's coming up in Sudbury. How are things looking over there?
Hey, we're excited to have them. You know, the CEO, he came to our draft combine in Windsor for an opportunity just to sort of check things out, and that was great to see because you know they're ready to go. They're interested. They're excited, obviously. I believe in the spring you're gonna start seeing some things come out, you know, like the team name and things of that nature. But again, you're looking at a model in which you know they've got a successful hockey team, and then how do you expand your brand? Let's add basketball, man. Why not? And then you got again that community. Much you know, it's almost like you can sort of pick any kind of community. There's a hotbed for basketball, and you feel like you say that over and over again. But it really, you know, Sudbury's great. Sudbury's great.
And in that same breath, do you see the NBL Canada start drifting west a bit more?
We want to, man. We want to. There's no question about that. We're in dialogues, we're in discussions, and
anyone you can give us privy to in terms of provincially, whether it's Quebec or
nothing at this point that we can say, hey, this is where we're going to be here. But we absolutely do want to be out west. We have conversations internally about it an awful lot, and we're confident that we'll be out there one of these days. And I think when we do, that's when you really see the brand, because then you truly are a national league at that point.
Absolutely.
And, you know, coast to coast, right? So that's the intent, desire, and wish.
Exciting times with the NBL Canada, year number 7, led now by Deputy Commissioner here, Audley Stevenson. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. And look, great job, you guys, always. I mean, I just saw a comment on the live stream from someone from Halifax that said you guys do a phenomenal job.
Well,
so there you go.
We'll always appreciate the feedback, positive or negative. We'll take it either way. Pretty thick skins in this role. Anyways, we'll be back with the start of the second half after the break.
Cool.
from Toronto, Ontario, number 9, Tremar Sutherland. A 7-foot center from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Look up, look way up. It's number 35, Derek Hall. And a 6'7" forward from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 55, Russell Bird. The Titans are coached by Serge Langent with his assistants, Rob Demian, Jody Moore, and Mike Quigley. The officials for tonight's contest, Mr. Mike Curry, Mr. Mark Baxter, and Mr. Augie Sokolow. Foul from the Hurricanes, number 23, Billy White, his first, team's first. Derek Hall shoots 2.
We saw him being forced to the top of the key and try to dish that one off just as the shot clock expired.
Clink scales, a risky pass, was looking for Brown inside, but it looked like it was Duncan who jumped, and he'll get charged with his second foul of the night. White. The clink scales now. White going to work on Vizzola, slashes through the defense and gets the goal. He had Hall coming in as the help defender, but still couldn't get across, and it's back to an 18-point Halifax lead.
At 6'8", 236, Billy White, certainly an athletic presence and a big swat there coming over to help defensively.
White doing on both ends of the court, but Sutherland drops in the long 2.
The Titans will need to start trying to chip away here. White looking to go one-on-one with Bird.
White trying to do it again. First shot won't go, grabs his own rebound. 5 to shoot from underneath, and a tough angle there, but and it looked like he was either Bird Hall who stepped out, so it'll stay Halifax basketball with a fresh 24.
Tough angle on the initial lay-in attempt and then the follow-up as well, but all in all, it kind of works out for the Halifax Hurricanes, who maintain possession.
And cutting through the defense again is White. Twice in a row now, and it's an 18-point Halifax lead.
Slashed in for that inbounds and an easy putback.
Duncan up top. Bird gets White in the air on the pump fake. The Titans still have to reset offensively. 8 to shoot now. Duncan. Hall now. 5 to shoot. The long J won't go.
Yeah, nice pump fake by Bird, but initially the defense was able to collapse down and force that extra pass afterwards. Then the sequence after all that results in 2 more for the Hurricanes off the hand of Ramel Brown.
Slick pass that time from White. It's the biggest lead tonight for Halifax. 20 points, 57-37. Sutherland gonna get the call there. Mason call for his second. With that, Rick Bodiford gonna check back into the game. Vazola heads off. Bodiford rather quiet in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's been kept in check very effectively.
I mentioned last year, Sutherland was a 65% free throw shooter. 2 for 2, but now the real test comes for the Titans. They've been very weak on the defensive end here. Turn around, and that one's good from Brown. And all 5 of these Halifax starters here in the second half seem to be getting their touches and getting some points on the board for the Hurricanes.
Nice turnaround floater there for the Hurricanes for the latest 2. Response from Sutherland isn't there, though.
A contested look that time. Klink scales the board ahead to White. Little hesitation. Bodiford can't get back, and White seemed to
got hand in the eye, and he's in a fair amount of pain right now, doubled over, and they're going to stop play at the moment.
And with that, the Titans will
Thanks to
call a
KW.
timeout.
Exactly, a Titans timeout on the play. So with 8:14 to go, 61-39, there's quite the hush over this gathering at the odd at the moment.
Absolutely, definitely looking for a little more coming out of the locker room, but haven't quite found the momentum. Billy White, strong to start the half. Ramel Brown has had a nice play on both ends of the floor.
Check. There we go. All right, time for our free throw shooting contest. Where's Max?
And it's the biggest Halifax lead they've had all night at 22 points.
Which one's Max? Which one are you? Max, okay, stand. Anyone down here? Okay, Max.
Ollie Stevenson, if you didn't catch that halftime interview, pretty excited for that home opener for St. John's Edge, and could it be the hottest ticket in town? That's going to be quite the event, to be sure.
3, 2, 1, go.
I mentioned after this one, Halifax, they continue their Central Division road swing. They'll play their 4th game in 5 days when head down to St. Catharines to take on the River Lions. Which dropped their first 2 of this road trip, falling in both Windsor and London, but on pace so far to get their first Central Division win of the season.
And that River Lions team will be visited by the Titans as well on December the 9th. I'm sure KW will be looking forward to get some more basketball under their wings. It's just the one game in their first 10 games of the season.
Second number is 25598. If you got a ticket, 25598.
As the adage goes, certainly practice is one thing, but game speed is really what you want to experience to not only see what you have on the floor, but to really improve on that chemistry. And for the Titans, it just hasn't been there so far through a game and just over half.
So the Hurricanes start the second half on a 14-6 run, with 8 of those points coming from Billy White. So you can imagine the Hurricanes bench had a bit of a scare there when he seemed to take a hand to the eye, but he's back out on the court. That time an offensive foul going to be called on Bird. number 2 on him.
Offensive foul called on the Titans.
So that stop-start play we saw for the initial part of this ball game, really all through the first quarter, we're seeing more of it now as neither team had really got the flow going, but right now, if you're Halifax, you're sitting pretty not too worried about that.
Mason left it for Clinkscales, and he draws the foul. It was Duncan draped all over him.
And that's the aspect of the game that has been missing for the Titans offensively, and a nice take there. Using his left hand there on that play, Clinkscales, and now we'll get a chance from the stripe.
Clinkscales good on number 1. Off the mark on number 2, shooting just about 50% on the year. Nope. It's a shot clock malfunction. Nigel Titer gonna check back in for KW. Bird heads off shortly after picking up his second foul.
And Titer, just the 2 points in the first half of play for him in limited minutes. 6 to be exact, mostly in that second quarter as, again, Coach Landis just trying to ramp up the physical play a little bit down low as he gets the rock right now.
Bird is actually staying in the game. Correction there. Titer turnaround jumper, and it looked like Brown got a piece of it. Clinkscales, a left-hand flip won't go.
Nice job of Clinkscales to protect the basketball, though, as he was hassled by Sutherland from behind, and it's number 9 coming right back on the lay-in on a transition play.
Duncan picks up the assist. Sutherland the easy lay, and he's now got 15 on the night. The alley-oop up top and going down hard and holding his right side, Billy White, but he seems to be up and okay, and what a start this second half for Billy White. Of course, 8 points already, and now he's heading the line for 2, but holding that left knee.
Yeah, just a rough couple minutes anyways for number 23 there for the Hurricanes, as you got the hand in the eye at first, and then now kind of nursing, you said that knee, I think it more so his hip even too. He's bent over just trying to work out the kinks there on the right side, so, and we're gonna get a technical foul called here on the Hurricanes bench boss.
Yeah, Leslie called for the technical foul. A bit of an odd sequence, especially considering the Hurricanes were getting ready to head to the free throw line.
And the look on his face says it all. If you can't catch it on your screen, it's pretty much disbelief on that one. Really hasn't voiced his displeasure, just I think more confusion of what exactly garnered that call. So the Hurricanes now, the Titans heading to the line.
Bird drops it in.
Russell Bird got to the free throw, Titans possession.
Of course, the Hurricanes were going to be head to the free throw line after Billy White went down hard off the alley-oop attempt, but because of the technical foul to Mike Leslie, the Titans get the free point from Russell Bird and possession of the basketball. Titer inside for the two-hand flush. Trying to get something going. That trims the lead to 16.
That's a nice dish there, to be sure, by Darren Duncan. Getting it over there to the Brampton native, Titer for the easy lay-in.
Zimmerman the 3, bang! Taquan Zimmerman drops in his first of the game. Went 0 for 5 from the field to start off, and now gets that lead back to 19 for Halifax. Duncan, the reverse, high off the window, won't go, second chance. A fresh 24 for KW, Bodiford from the corner. That's short. Titer fighting for another possession, but he pushed off, and he'll get called for the foul.
Good ball rotation there by the Titans after that loose ball was recovered for the open look in the corner. But again, as you said, Titer getting charged for that push down low and the offensive charge against him.
Technical foul assessed number 2, Rick Bodiford, his third, team's 6th.
So already 16 fouls for the Titans here in this third quarter. Still 6:19 to go as well in the third frame.
It was the Hurricanes who got into a bit of foul trouble in the early going, and now it's the Titans here in the third. We got none to give the rest of the way.
Take 1-0, make it a free throw. Halifax possession.
Brown swings inside for White. Watched by Bird. A turnaround, and it's good. Billy White muscling his way inside, and it's the biggest lead of the night for Halifax at 22.
And things just keep on piling up here for the Titans in terms of their troubles. And a whistle as soon as Bird put that ball to the floor.
Yeah, it's Billy White who's going to get called for the foul. It's his third. Talk about impressive. White has been efficient, 6 for 6 from the floor, 12 points, and 8 of those coming in the opening minutes of this second half. Right-hand drive from Bird, flips it up, won't go. Muscling his way for the rebound was Ramel Brown.
Just ripped it out of the hands of Titer, if it even got to his hands there in that instance. Some good positioning by Brown to get that board, and now a foul going the other way. Charge against the Titans.
Mason be coming off that curl. Bird was all over him, wasn't really ready for a shot. Mason didn't really get off a high percentage look either, but knowing Bird was draped all over him, draws the foul and heads to the line for 2.
Antoine Mason transferred over to Auburn University before going undrafted in the 2015 NBA draft. Spent some time in Cyprus after that, and then eventually obviously found his way here to the Hurricanes.
Quick move for the Hurricanes. Clink scales off, Poole back in.
Titer's right hand doesn't go.
Pass from Brown almost went out of play, but Hurricanes maintain possession. Mason steps into one and drops it in from long range. Duncan was there, but a bit of a size mismatch. 27 points is your margin now as the Hurricanes starting to run away with this one. Titer, the long 2. CJ Washington back into the game. Greg Morrow also in for KW.
So again, the rotation continues here for the Titans. Haven't found that set 5 the head coaches usually like to have, and then just slot in players accordingly as the minutes of rest are required. That was White nearly slipping there. Able to gather himself at the top of the arc.
White drops his shoulder, and indeed that's going to be a charge on Billy White. Bird stood his ground. He didn't get the benefit of the call earlier. And
number 4 for Billy White.
He's been their catalyst here in the second half. Don't want to lose him.
12 and 2, along with 2 assists for him on the night. Perfect 6 for 6 from the field. That is Tyrone Watson as well.
10 of those 12 though from White. Coming here and
finish that Tyrone Watson, although not being on the floor currently, just closing in on a double-double himself.
Watson 12 and 9, but of course Sutherland the only Titan to eclipse double digits. He's at 15, but currently on the bench. Bird went up, came down empty, and it's a clean strip that time.
And CJ Washington that time getting a hand in the face as he was bent over baseline.
Zimmerman to Washington. Powerful move inside, and he'll get the friendly roll.
Good effort down low by number 20 there. Gain the angle and able to go up strong.
Duncan cuts inside, tries to drop it off for Hall, but pass intercepted. Hurricanes back the other way. White in the corner against Bird.
He thought about it, wanted to go one-on-one with Bird. He beats him now baseline.
Oh, and a clean strip. Bird and Hall got in there to force the turnover. We're back the other way. Is Mason almost forcing the turnover? Bodiford waits and scores.
Yeah, some good active hands defensively by Mason to get a hand up on that pass deflection, or for that pass deflection, but ultimately doesn't turn out to be enough as KW able to convert it into points.
73-46 with just over 3 minutes to go. In the third quarter, Zimmerman lost the ball. The follow-up also blocked. Billy White was rejected by Derek Hall. White's gonna head off. He has some words for the official.
And he continues to, he's gotta be careful here, but basically a wall of White there that he had to contend with. 1-on-3 right under the basket. That's tough for any skill level basketball player.
Dixon into the game, 10 on the shot clock here. Dixon, the left-hand dribble, step back, won't go. Morrow fighting for that rebound, and it looks like Washington's gonna get charged.
Hurricanes foul charge number 20, C.J. Washington.
And for C.J. Washington, that'll be his second personal, go along with his 11 points on the night. Good hustle play there by Morrow on the defensive board.
Yeah, Reaper into the game for the Hurricanes.
But rebounding certainly not something that Titans have been doing enough here tonight, to say the least. Especially defensively, 32 defensive boards for the Hurricanes, 41 in total to KW's 29.
And it seems like whenever the Titans have got those second opportunities, they haven't really made the most of them.
And just lacking that presence in the paint are the Titans.
7 offensive rebounds, but only 6 second chance points. Reefer, fresh in the game, gets his first points of the evening, lead up to 29 now. Kyle Arsenault back in for KW.
And what stands out to you the most, especially with the Titans, the lack of assists too.
Duncan.
Just not moving the ball around effectively to open shooters.
That time their top assist man, Duncan, tried to get a man open, didn't work, led to a turnover, and in the other end, Ronaldo Dixon has a chance for a three-point play.
No let up in this Hurricane squad right now. Up by 31. And things are getting ugly.
Duncan,
they haven't already. We could have used that a little while ago, I suppose.
Bring out all the bad basketball cliches, because the Titans have done just that here tonight. 10 days off. This is definitely not what they were anticipating. And Halifax, a team that came in here and won a nail-biter last year, is on their way to win this one rather easily. They split last year's Tilt Flynn Whitfield. A huge performance in Halifax led them to the win. Hall hits the open three.
And he's certainly capable of that. We joked about it last broadcast. You know, not too often you mention a stretch 5, but the big man can shoot from beyond the arc.
Zimmerman misses the 3. Hall, the other side, won't go. Hits the 3, misses the layup.
Things starting to open up here a little bit. That's not going to help the Titans.
Washington continues to stay hot. 13 points for him now in the night.
New mix on the floor for KW with Vizzola out there along with Arsenault, who we haven't seen in a while. I think since the first quarter, in fact.
No, I saw him in the fourth quarter in the first game, the first quarter night, and getting some action here late in the third with 1:17 to go, and 80-49. Halifax lead 31 points. That's the largest deficit the Titans have faced this season. Vizzola, open. Arsenault, the corner 3, and it's good.
Player out of Acadia. He did that throughout his youth sports career in the AUS. Quite often, anyways.
Shot off the mark from C.J. Washington. Morrow tries to blow by Reefer. Arsenault again for 3. No good. Hall battling for that board, but Poole gets in there to secure it. Reefer open in the corner, won't go. And then a foul called on the loose ball, and it's on Bodiford, and he can't believe it. Bodiford's gonna pick up his third of the evening. Foul troubles really seems to be across the board for Halifax. Duncan with 4. Matt Titer with 3. Hall and Bird also.
Fortunate for them, it really just doesn't matter at this point.
At this point, it seems to be a clean slate, and they're looking forward to next game.
Well, certainly had it tough at the ring ceremony against the London Lightning as well with that atmosphere, although they gave him a heck of a fight in that ball game, even as Coach Mike Leslie was not overly pleased with their shooting display. Good ball game certainly to watch from fans' perspective too. But if they can nail this down, which they've ultimately done here tonight, fair to say, down 30 or up 30 with 30 seconds to go in the third, and wrap it up with a victory over Niagara. Come away from Ontario at 500, not bad trip.
And we'll charge for the foul after Arsenault knocked down the 3, so don't count the basket. Zimmerman. Zola on him, about a 4-second difference between the two clocks. Zimmerman passed down low, and drawing the foul that time was Washington, so he's headed to the free throw line, and although it's just one possession in the grand scheme of things, it's deflating for a team on a defensive stand like that when you let the shot clock wind down and end up fouling a guy and giving him 2 easy looks.
Well, yeah, exactly right, as you don't want to let any shots fly here on this possession, but that's just a matter of not moving your feet quickly enough if you're Vazola. That pass was gained entry into a low block area.
Washington shooting 86% from the stripe on the year. 2 for 2 that time. Morrow one last time, gets it to drop. It's a long 2.
And it's a long way to go for the Titans.
Took the words right out of my mouth. 84-54, a 30-point Hurricanes lead. And it has not been good. Not one bit.
Well, certainly an understatement, and at this point, you just hope to see a bit more fight out of the Titans. It's one of those things where you get a ball game like this, and it's just a matter of going possession to possession, winning the small battles, because ultimately the writing's on the wall, and if you're the Titans and any of the players on the floor, you're fighting for the playing time. That's ultimately what it comes down to. If there's one guy that stood out to me, it's really been Shamar Sutherland. We've seen spurts of it from Greg Morrow as well, but just hasn't been consistent enough from the rest of the team.
It's really been a slow transition for Sutherland to really get this bigger role. Played in 41 games last year, but started 10. Most of those came towards the end of the year, where he really started to seem to pick things up and get a bit more of a higher role in the rotation. And certainly based on how things are looking this year, they're going to be relying on him a lot.
Just going through some of those third quarter stats, and while Halifax continues to shoot the lights out here up to now, almost 51% from the field. Credit them for their solid work defensively, and just adding to the Titans' woes, who have climbed really above 31%. They're at that point right now, but we haven't seen them exceed that percentage or success rate even in this ball game. Just continued dominance in the paint for the visiting side as well. 46 boards to KW's 32. And certainly evident from what we've seen here on the floor too.
Yeah, I see a few that are just really looming when you look at the stat sheet. The first one, of course, the field goal percentage. Halifax shooting almost 51%. KW, they're shooting under 31. Of course, the rebounds, they have just been completely efforted on the boards. 46 for the Hurricanes, as you mentioned, and the second chance points have led to that, and points in the paint just really overall getting dominated down low. But you can imagine that they're going to be hoping for that to be improved upon with the new addition of Kevin Rogers.
Well, not to mention only the 12 assists. That's got to change going forward. That's never going to win you a ball game, and the Titans are experiencing that here tonight. The lack of assists, that is, and what that can do to your team. And again, credit to these Hurricanes. They're hustling their butts to get into the passing lane, so it makes it all that much tougher to try to distribute the basketball if you're KW.
Morrow, Hill, Vizzola, Sutherland, and Kyle Arsenault back out for Kitchener-Waterloo. It's Poole, Washington, Dixon, Zimmerman, and Reefer back out for the Hurricanes.
And there you saw on your screen a moment ago, next home game for the Titans will be against the new franchise in town. Well, I say in town, they will be in town, but the new franchise in the NBL of Canada, St. John's Edge, led by a pretty established Canadian player in his own right. And Mr. English doing wonders here in his debut.
Central Division Player of the Week.
They'll take that.
Hot start for Carl English. He's looking very good. Ronald Dixon completes the three-point play.
What a brilliant move by that management staff to bring him on board, though.
Looking for a franchise player, especially in a Canadian basketball league.
Especially a local boy, too.
Can't think of a much better guy than him. Dixon. Here's Reefer, he's watched by Morrow. Zimmerman with the shot clock down to 3. Zimmerman floats it inside, the entry pass, no time left. Doesn't look like Dixon got it off, and indeed that will be a 24-second shot clock violation.
Again, some great movement there from the Hurricanes, but that extra pass burned them in the end, as you're right, he didn't get that ball up in the air before the buzzer sounded.
Zimmerman been particularly strong from beyond the arc so far this year. Was out to see him pass up that shot and go for the entry pass. That extra pass you mentioned definitely killed that possession, but regardless, we're still up 33. Bill's shot won't go. Zimmerman's pass right into the hands of Morrow. And Morrow tied up by Dixon. It looks like that's going to be the FIBA quote unsporting foul.
As he gave a look, did Dixon, as that foul was called. So Morrow will head to the stripe here to try and tack on 2 more to his totals and bring it up to 12. 2 of 2 from the stripe so far, make that 3 for 3 now.
Morrow last year averaged under 5 points a game, but of course showed spurts of brilliance. Touched on earlier a season high 22-point effort in their lone win against the Lightning.
That was in his hometown as well. Nice to do that in front of family and friends, to be sure.
Vizzola here watched by Poole. Hill, the explosive move right to the rack. And the left-hand throwdown for Kevin Hill.
You have to appreciate that move right there. But a little too late in the ball game for the Titans. Certainly would have been helpful back in the first.
Washington to long 2. No good, but
Morrow jammed his hand there.
3 blue jerseys in the corner. Morrow, as you mentioned, coming up in pain. That left hand still trying to play defense. Dixon, a little pass to Washington results in the turnover.
It's actually his right index finger. It looks like he's jammed and still shaking it off, or trying to at least. Those are the worst when you get those right off the fingertips. And now a timeout on the floor, and that'll give him a few extra seconds to maybe get the bees out of his hands. Hopefully that's all it is.
Hopefully nothing serious, but I can only imagine here in a 29-point game, Coach Langus isn't going to take any risks. You can imagine that'll be the last we see from Morrow unless it really is something temporary.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to risk further injury, and especially what the deficit is at this point in the game. And as much as we were talking about trying to get more action under their belt, if you're the KW Titans, it's one of those things where maybe you want the extra couple days to go back to the drawing board here. It gives you some time to get your newest player and Kevin Rogers into the fold and build something from that. Certainly a nice bounce back game for the Halifax Hurricanes here this evening. A big time response.
That's right, coming off 2 straight losses in Windsor and London.
And granted, only a narrow loss against the Lightning there. For most of the game, it was a pretty close one, and it finally ended 112-99 in favor of the Lightning. And then just the 11-point loss against the Windsor Express. Down to 401 here.
2 very good teams that you can imagine are going to be
just very
pesky
well,
all year long.
Very well coached, and anytime, even tonight, you've noticed it, just timely breaks here called, or timeouts called here by the Hurricanes head coach. Even with the deficit what it was, anytime the Titans seem to maybe start getting things going offensively, a quick timeout and a reset for the Hurricanes to right the ship slightly. And it's been smooth sailing all throughout this ball game as a result.
Pools 3 off the mark, then it's Dixon who gets called for the loose ball foul. Morrow and T gonna stay on the bench for now. They're gonna take a look at him. Hopefully it's nothing serious.
So as much as Coach Land just eats, sleeps, and walks and talks basketball, he's gonna be having even more dreams in the next few days, and not necessarily of the good variety.
Washington in the post, a nice move for the score. 17 now on the night for Washington.
Just another good post move down low. Kept it simple, and it turns into some good results.
That time it's Botiford drawing the foul. Reefer called for number 1. Botiford's second trip to the free throw line tonight. Rather quiet. McDonald coming back in for Halifax. We'll have to wait as Botiford going just 1 for 2, so the Halifax lead pauses at 30. Here's Zimmerman. Entry pass, Washington draws the double team. Looked like a pass, but it goes loose, and Halifax retains possession, 4 to shoot now. Zimmerman, don't think he realizes it. Puts up a difficult shot, won't go, but Washington there for the offensive board. Just muscles his way right off Kyle Arsenault, and a fresh 24 here for the Hurricanes. Dixon going back to work down low. Finishes off with the hook shot, a 32-point Hurricanes lead now.
Just looking so dominant. They're establishing such a presence on the offensive side of the floor.
That time it was Hill. Draws the foul. It's Browse and McDonald who will now check in. Poole and Dixon head off for Halifax. Bird and Titer back in for the Titans.
Russell Bird in for the Titans.
Hill no good on both, so Hill and Bodiford combine him as 4 straight free throws. Zimmerman steps into one, knocks down the 3. Daquan Zimmerman just his second from beyond the arc tonight, but it stretches that lead to 35 for the Hurricanes. Bodiford open in the corner. Won't go. Sutherland fighting for that rebound, but can't get the second opportunity to go. Third chance, and he'll lay it in. Sutherland gets to 18 points on the night.
So, well, it's been a good night personally for Tremar Sutherland. That's really been the lone glimmer of hope offered by this Titans offense.
That's right. Morrow, the only other Titan in double figures. Halifax with 4 of their own. Zimmerman, the step back, drops that one in as well. Titer backing in on McDonald and gets it to go off the glass.
It's one of those games where you just wish they had run time at this point in the ball game.
Washington, the circus shot, but drew the foul that time. Titer is going to pick up his 4th on the night.
Nigel Titer called for the foul. That is his 4th, team's second. Darren Duncan checks in for the Titans. CJ Washington will shoot.
So Mazzola will head off now and walks away shaking his head. He just does not look comfortable on the floor, and I think that could be said for most of the Titans, as this look of frustration is copied over 11-fold.
Washington 0 for 2. A 17-point effort for him tonight, though. Mentioned one of 4 Hurricanes in double figures that time. A foul called on Ree for his second.
And there's just no let up, and you gotta love it if you're head coach Leslie of the Hurricanes too. Although the foul call in that instance, that's what the Titans have had to deal with all of the night. Defenders right up on them as soon as they even get a pass, and it makes it so much tougher after that point. Hard take there by Sutherland, and he's flat on the floor.
Sutherland went up against 2 defenders, come down hard. Titer gets the end one play to drop, but Sutherland's slow to get up. He's getting some help there from Duncan. He looks to be okay.
Mike Poole into the game. Nigel Titer shoots 1 shot.
Titer can't convert on the and one.
Now just still stuck at 12 points in this 4th quarter, and KW Titans, I think, are still going to be hovering around their lowest ever point total in team history, in their short team history.
It would appear so, as they have
trying to look that up there, and unfortunately with this new revamp of the website, still not having access to those record books. But from what I recall, I believe it was 67 or 68 a year ago. As Titer misses his first. Having some struggles himself, as is the whole team from the free throw line.
Just does not look comfortable out there.
19 of 32 from the free throw line.
Got 19 of 33. A 31-point Halifax lead. And you dropped the cliche earlier, just no let up really.
Well, that's exactly what you want from your team. Compete right to the final buzzer And that's what Mike Leslie is getting right now from his troops.
Reefer in trouble, dishes off to Poole. The quick release Jay won't go.
And you think this team won a statement game? They've got it right here.
Sutherland off to Titer. Spins, throws up the right hand, draws a foul. He'll head to the free throw line again, but that hasn't seemed to be much of a threat for Titer.
2 of 5 from the charity line.
Titer just can't seem to find it at the stripe.
Well, you certainly have to credit the faithful that have stuck around in this one to stay behind their Titans. You knew there'd be growing pains with a new franchise such as this one, but the lesson they've learned here tonight, you only hope that they learn from it and move on in game number 3.
Poole off the mark, but second opportunity for Halifax.
Great
quick
find.
Reverse and nice play by Theon Reefer.
Such a great cut down low by the Hurricanes. And Reefer left wide open for that pass, which was just as sharp. And the Hurricanes now possession away from the century mark.
McDonald no good on the 3. Titer the drive and the lay-in.
And we certainly should throw a shout out to Chuck Miller as well. We were just about to bring that up. We had it written down here, but 74 points, indeed the lowest points for the Titans in a game coming last year. So the beauty of the live chat on the streams, you have to love it.
All kinds of effort there, as it's Rouse who will draw the foul. Going up for one of many offensive rebounds. Titer.
And you'd figure they might tuck away the whistles here and with 4:15 to go, but
it's the pros, man. You win big, you lose big. Titer called for his 5th foul on the night.
There's tucking away in certain calls, but others you just have to make, otherwise the game gets right out of hand in other ways.
Here's Bird. Bird over Zimmerman. That's way off the mark. Bird, one of those players who seem to show flashes of brilliance on opening night, is not quite in that category here tonight. Good news with Morrow back in the game. 3 from Zimmerman off the mark. And going down hard that time is Reefer, and they're going to stop play. He looks to be in some discomfort.
Definitely landed awkwardly there on his right side. He gets up gingerly, and that's a good sign. You put the score line aside and just hope these players get away unscathed at this point in the ball game.
Arsenault back in for the Titans. Duncan battling his way inside, but a travel going to be called. Nope.
A hold being called.
It's actually, he has a foul on Zimmerman inside. Halifax, of course, in the penalty, so Titer steps to the line.
almost seems like a punishment to him so far tonight, sending him back there.
I think he heard you.
Well, it's certainly not to diminish his effort, but certainly an aspect of his game he's going to want to touch up.
Titer 4 for 9 now from the stripe. 100-69. All Halifax would be an understatement as McDonald gets the roll there.
Again, there, Titer getting beaten clean. Caught chasing his man, and by that point it was too late. Converted into 2, and now make it 102-69.
Duncan, little crossover move, splits the D, then draws the foul. It looks like it's going to be McDonald, and it will.
Vazzola's going to check back in here for KW.
Tough night for him as well. 4 fouls on Vazzola, going just 1 for 5 from the floor. No rebounds, just the 2 dimes.
And mentioned in the first game this season, spent some time in what was then the D League, I guess now the G League.
No, it was Summer League.
Summer League, excuse me, yes, with Brooklyn.
Close to home, I'd say.
Certainly was.
McDonald now with under 3 to play. Zimmerman. Reefer splits a D, a nice drive by Theon Reefer to get the lead back to 31 for the Hurricanes. Sutherland cutting inside. Titer, move in the post, spins and scores. Seems to be doing a lot better from that spot. Now 14 for Titer.
Well, the young man still continues to work hard. It's been tough sledding, but you have to appreciate the effort.
Zimmerman draws a double team. It leaves McDonald wide open. Arsenault the 3. It's short. Morrow the offensive board. The bucket. 14 for Morrow. Zimmerman the 3. It's good. Saquon Zimmerman heating up here in the second half. Becomes the 5th Hurricanes player to reach double figures on the night.
3
Then
for 9.
Morrow.
3 for 9 from beyond the arc. Then Morrow has points number 13, or 15 and 16 rather. And it looks like Reefer is going to be headed off here, and he's nursing his left side just a little bit. Nice spurt of minutes from the St. Mary's University product out of Toronto.
White, the drive, throws it up, won't go. Arsenault, the transition 3 is good. Arsenault, 2 for 6 from beyond the arc. It goes without saying his career high with the Titans. McDonald goes right around Titer. He got a hand in there, but also got a piece of him. That'll be a foul.
We've seen that a few times, him getting burned on the initial step defensively, and just some good foresight there by McDonald, just beating him with his quickness. And that'll be his final, I guess, play of the night as he's gonna head off after the latest foul.
Titer fouls out, and the onslaught continues.
McDonald, the Trinity Western student athlete, former student athlete, finishing off his second free throw.
Mazzola's layup won't go. He'll hold a follow-up. Hurricanes not taking a knee, though, by any means. No let-up from this team. Mason, deep three, rattles it in. 31 points. Lead for the Hurricanes. McDonald picks up number 4.
As he slowed down to crawl and just basically reached in to impede Sutherland's progress there. Almost a walk back for him, but at this point, I guess it doesn't matter.
Sutherland, he'll go 1 for 2. And he'll have a team high 20. No one on the Hurricanes has to reach that, but it doesn't really matter. They come into Kitchener and they win by 30, and all around just a whopping from the Halifax Hurricanes here tonight.
I think that summarizes it pretty effectively. Really, Halifax dominating in every facet of tonight's ball game and just piled on the points and came away with a convincing 113-83 victory. And for the Titans, they'll have to go back, as that goes back to the drawing board and figure something out here. Just need to play with a lot more passion right from the get-go. We haven't seen that from games number 1 or 2.
6 players from the Hurricanes reached double figures. The Titans did really not have those efforts. We talked about guys in the starting lineup who we saw a lot from in the first game. Derek Hall, 2 for 10 from the floor. Russell Bird, 2 for 8. Duncan doesn't drop a field goal on the night. Vizzola goes 1 for 6. Just a lot of guys who have got to step up. It's got to be a team effort at this point.
Yeah, and absolutely the Halifax Hurricanes sitting first in the league in shot attempts, had another 84 tonight, but 51% from the field, including 40% from beyond the arc. Doing it on the boards, as well as just moving the basketball around very effectively and converting those into points themselves. So full marks to them as they will head down to Niagara to try and finish off this trip with back-to-back wins.
That's it. The Hurricanes get back above 500, improving to 3-2, halting that brief 2-game losing skid. The Titans, they're still searching for win number 1. They'll head to St. Catharines next Saturday, and we'll be back here on Wednesday, December 13th at St. John's Edge, pay their first visit to the Odd. Once again, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. For Dan Paulchuk, I'm Ian Jodry, and good night from Kitchener.